Do you know what the legal drinking age in Australia is? Yes, it is certainly 18. As stated by the Australian Government Department of Health Legal Drinking Age Act, you must be 18 years or older to buy alcohol or drink in a licensed venue. But do you truly think that teenagers start drinking at the age of 18? Well, to answer that, a survey from the 2011 Australian secondary students found that adolescents start drinking as early as 12 years of age. Why would lifting the drinking age be the best option? And what is it about teenagers drinking that is so controversial? Well, firstly, raising the legal drinking age will decrease the damaging effects that alcohol has on the developing brain of young teenagers. And secondly, this action will prevent unnecessary alcohol-related violence or incidents that occur among the youth that ultimately leads to death. Finally, the health and well-being of young teenagers can be improved if the legal drinking age is lifted. On the other hand, others may argue that there should not be a legal drinking age set whatsoever, as this could lead to individuals of all ages drinking excessively. However, the drinking age of 21 saves lives and improves health, as seen in states across the US. Raising the legal drinking age in Australia would mean that the lives of Australian teenagers are protected. There is no doubt that alcohol can cause harm to the brain on any individual, but towards the developing brain of an adolescent, there can be major consequences. For most of Australian teens that start consuming alcohol at the early ages of 12 to 18, there is a much greater risk of alcohol changing the development of their brain. Alcohol is a depressant that affects the brain by causing it to slow down. As a result, the depressant effects of alcohol are witnessed when an individual has a slurred speech, poor vision, a slow reaction rate, lack of coordination, and poor muscle and judgment. This consequently leads to problems with memory and learning, and also increases the risk of developing alcohol-related problems in the future. The alcohol is known to affect two main areas in the brain. One being the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped area deep in the human brain, which is responsible for learning and memory. The alcohol damages or destroys the cells that make up the hippocampus, resulting in blackouts or fuzzy memories after drinking. The harm on the developing brains of adolescents is especially dangerous, as students have shown that teenagers especially dangerous, as studies have shown that teenagers who heavily drink have considerably smaller hippocampus compared to others. The other part of the brain affected is the prefrontal cortex. This area is responsible for rational thinking, planning, personality, impulse control, and language. Hence why individuals become more irrational, overly confident, and less inhibited when drunk. As for the developing brain of adolescents, in the frontal cortex is still in the process of maturing. Therefore, alcohol may damage these cells. This places a great risk for adolescents, as they may have difficulties learning new information and making poor judgment and problems with decision making in the future. Therefore, by raising the legal drinking age, this ensures that the brain of adolescents may develop in its full maturity state, which in turn will reduce the risk of development issues. Lifting the legal drinking age does not only prevent unnecessary alcohol-related violent incidents from occurring among the youth, but it also means that the neighborhood and communities are safer in Australia. Similar to adults, consumption of alcohol can reduce a child's mental and physical abilities, affecting their judgment and coordination, which in turn leads to mishap and sometimes accident and injuries. Hazardous drink alcohol usage results in the reduction of self-control and the ability to process incoming information and considering risk, which increases impulsivity. Research has shown that among 10 and 17-year-olds who have had an alcoholic drink, 12% have experienced harm as a result of their drinking, which is either getting in trouble with the police, being a victim of a crime, being taken to the hospital, or gotten into fights. A great example of increased teen violence, mainly influenced by alcohol within Australia, occurs during the annual Schoolies Week, which is a week-long festival celebrated by Year 12 school leavers from every corner of Australia, including overseas. A news report by the News Daily states that the first week of the infamous Schoolies weekend of the infamous Schoolies Week on the Gold Coast has been tainted by violence, with 54 people arrested following muggings and violent alcohol-fueled attacks. This demonstrates why allowing teens to drink at an early age does cause harm and damage upon themselves and within the communities. Therefore, lifting the legal drinking age will prevent alcohol-related violence among adolescents. Finally, lifting the legal drinking age can ultimately mean that the health and well-being of Australian teens are being prioritized. As already mentioned, the consumption of alcohol affects the brain. Not only damages parts of the brain cells, but also affects other parts of the body, resulting in short-term and long-term effects on adolescents. The safest level of alcohol drinking for teenagers is no drinking, especially for young people under 15 years of age. Therefore, depending on how much a teen drinks, they experience short-term effects like headaches, vomiting, distorted vision and hearing, coma, and blackouts. In addition, drinking during adolescent years result in damaging lifelong effects, as evidence show that misuse of alcohol closely relates to mental and physical problems. According to research, young people who begin drinking before the age of 15 are 4 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence than those who begin drinking at age 21, which explains why individuals resort to drinking rather than facing their problems, which derives and leads to co-occurring disorders such as low self-esteem, anxiety disorder, and antisocial behavior. As more teens create the habit of drinking, it can develop several long-term health conditions such as liver cirrhosis and ammonia, hypotension, pancreatitis, hepatitis, heart problems, and even cancer. Therefore, increasing the legal drinking age can result in a healthy upbringing of a child without the influence of alcohol, and also ensures that their well-being is being carefully sustained. Conversely, people may argue that there should not be an age set where an individual starts drinking legally, as this would suggest that an individual can an individual at that age could drink to excess with no limits. The current age limit is not working perfectly. It is ineffective. Children aged 12 to 17 are already trying alcohol. Teenagers consume alcohol regardless of the age limit. Alcohol plays a major role in Australian culture, and teens are mostly aware of that, as most adolescents are eager to join in on the cultural activities and their peers or role models are doing. Many youth under the age of 21 still drink despite the current legal drinking age. Furthermore, in Australia, 18 is the age at which a child becomes an adult under general Australian law, which means that they have the right to make their own decisions about alcohol consumption. Stopping teen drinking may lead to underage drinking in private and less safe environment. This is more dangerous. A report from a university in the United States found that when people are told not to do something, it can often bring an opposite reaction. Having an age limit gives teenagers the thrill of breaking the law to get a drink. Removing the limit would remove the thrill and make it safer for teenagers. Therefore, removing an age limit would allow individuals to pay more attention to their moral compass to guide their drinking habits. This in turn will mean that individuals are consuming alcohol wisely and not excessively when they have reached their age, when they have reached their own timing to drink. In conclusion, it is evident that the arguments outlined above for raising the legal drinking age in Australia are compelling. By taking the action to do so ensures that the harmful effects of alcohol on the developing brains of adolescents will lessen, including the risk of developing other brain problems. In addition, it will also mean that more unnecessary violent incidents among the youth will also be prevented. Finally, it will ensure that the health and well-being of adolescents are safely maintained. However, not setting a legal drinking age is deemed by some, as they may argue that this would imply to an individual that they can drink to excess with no limits or consequences, since they have reached the age of acceptance. Whereas if people listen to their moral compass, then this should be enough to tell them that one drink would be enough, or not to drink to excess. Overall, the Australian government should raise the legal drinking age to ensure a safe and secure environment for Australian teens. Make the change now to keep teens safe and healthy. Thank you.